So a terabyte. A terabyte is one. What? Who knows? It's like an awkward number of gigabytes, but it's a whole lot of gigabytes. And a gigabyte is a whole lot of megabytes. So a terabyte's a very big thing. All right, we're looking at A first. We're going to shuffle up. We should shuffle up. We do not ever just want the answer. I care more about the process than I do the answer. Actually, I think this already happened to somebody in this class. You put the wrong answer down, but because everything in the process was right and you made a silly math mistake, I counted it right and just like made a little note about like, yo, this is where you went wrong. Do you have a question? Because otherwise I'm using cards. Yeah, darn it. What, are you surprised? Yeah. Oh, yeah? Ahran, what can I do first here?
What we could do is you can take away the 1x from both sides.
Yeah, buddy. We can take away 1x from both sides. So we write that work. If you are skipping steps, you are inviting the opportunity for mistakes. The x is gone now on the right-hand side. The 8 drops down because nothing changed over. Well, nothing changed with the 8. Max, right? What's my next step in this situation?
Oh, this. So minus 4x equals 2.
Minus 4 to both sides. Now, this is one of those crazy situations where you could get away with dividing everything by 2, but then you'd still have to subtract after that. So I always say, do subtraction or addition first to clean things up, isolate the variable on its own side, and then we can...
Divide by 2.
Yeah, because you already told us the answer. I figured you could just take us home.
We're breaking the order of operations.
Actually,
Oh, yeah.
actually,
Oh, no.
funny story. We're not breaking the order of operations. We're following the order of operations, but we're going up instead of down. For real. Order of operations, right? PEMDAS, whatever you want to say. It tells you, parentheses, exponents are like, what we're doing is in the reverse order. Because we're trying to like unlock something that's locked in to the like equation that we've been given. So we're not just simplifying an expression. That's going to fall. We're not just simplifying an expression. We're trying to solve an equation. Essentially, we're working backwards. Max?
Is it fine if you do the minus 4 first?
Yeah, you can do the minus 4
Yeah,
first.
that's what I do.
There are 4 correct options when we start. We could subtract 3x. We could subtract 4. We could subtract x. We could subtract 8. I just made the advice that my easiest option is get rid of the smaller variable.
I did them both at the same time.
Yeah, that's dangerous, though. That's inviting the opportunity for mistakes. Mr. McNeil, tell me how to start this one. Actually, there are 2 pretty good options here because I don't really like negative things.
Exactly. I know. That's what
Colin, what do you want me to do?
Well, B, I started by adding 2y on both.
Yeah, I like that option. If we add 2y to both sides, and guys, there are 4 options. So if this isn't what you did, that doesn't mean you're wrong. So hang on and wait for the answer. But if we add 2y, we get positive variable. Right now we have 3y plus 10 over there. Any questions on what I just did? Or why? Why?
I have a question on C.
We're not there yet. Hold on. We're going in order.
Yeah, I already did the other one.
Why, Brenda?
Jordan, what could I do now? So now my variable side is like the right side. So I need to get this constant off of here. How do we do that? Yeah, I like how you said that. Add negative 10, or a lot of people like to just say minus 10. And we do it on both sides. Now, unfortunately, I got positive variables, but I got negative constants. So we get negative 6 over there. And, okay, apparently everybody just wants to shout it out instead of letting me call cards.
Yeah.
Divide by 3.
I said it on purpose.
Yo, double check your work. A negative divided by a positive is a negative number.
You did it on the wrong side.
Actually, does it matter how I write my answer?
Not really.
I mean, you're right. Whoever actually me, you're right. But is this different than this? Not really. When I go to write my answer, I normally put the variable first.
Technically, yes.
It's just nicer.
Like, I got negative y equals 2. So I just
And
made it
so that's also the same, but we're not trying to solve for what's the opposite of y. We're trying to solve for what is y.
That's why I just changed it to y equals negative 2.
Yep.
Because it looks better.
So you do opposite of that equals opposite of that. Now on C, and funny enough, what are the odds of that, Brenda?
Okay, but I have a question on the other one.
What?
Is it okay if I was raising my hand for that question?
You said you didn't have a question on this. You said you had one on C.
Well, I have one on both.
Okay.
If I so for my first thing, I subtracted 4 and then subtracted y. That got me negative 3y equals x. And I got the same answer. Did I do it correctly still?
Yeah, there's many ways to get it.
Yo!
This is about me up at Disney World.
You subtracted 4. You subtracted y. Except I'm definitely not going to do those things at the same time.
It's literally the same thing.
Whoa! Well, not literally.
But I still got it right.
I mean, it's kind of the same thing.
It's
a different- It's a different road.
Now I have a question on
So, technically, you didn't have a question because I started that problem by saying there are 4 different ways to start this trip. So, guys, again, to make sure everyone hears it, all because what you did is different than what we do up here doesn't mean it's wrong. There are 4 different ways to start these trips, and sometimes more than 4 different ways. We just need to get to the same place, right? And you're not a licensed driver, so you should probably ride your bike.
You just gotta end it like this.
Brenda,
C.
yes.
Okay, since there's a negative in front of the parentheses, would that flip them over to the positive side?
The opposite of everything that is in here.
Gotcha.
So not that it like necessarily does something like every time. It's the opposite of what is in here. So the opposite of this x is going to be negative x. The opposite of this positive 8 is going to be negative 8.
Okay, thank you.
So Brenda answered my question of what to do first. What to do first is distribute the here's the trap door, guys. Here is the trap door. Check your right side. Do you have a negative x and a negative 8? People forget to distribute the negative to the 8, and that's how you get these wrong. Also, on the left-hand side, though, Connor, what else could I do? Excuse me, before I start that whole other 4-step.
Well, after you've done that, you can take away negative x from each side, add x to each side.
Careful. I got something to do first.
Oh.
Always check for simplification, right? Always look for simplification. What's 5x minus 2x? 3x. So we have 3x plus 4 over here. So now you told me to. I agree with what you said, but can you say it again? Add an x to each side to deal with that negative x. Any questions at this point? By the way, I will set a bar for you if you want. My morning Math 7 class impressed me so much. They were just like also diligently working. Like literally, you could hear a pen drop, and obviously you could hear that. Like I just got up and gave them all candy. So I was like, I can't not. Like you guys are blowing me away. I love my job, and I love getting to love my job. So like, yeah, just setting that bar that like on certain days, certain whatever, and it's harder for you guys because you come in the afternoon. But like here later in the lesson, it's just gonna be a bunch of like, all right, go. And there's like 6 different equations for us to like attack. So just setting that bar. Gus?
Now I'm confused on the next part of this. Could you add 8, but then it would be 0 on one side?
4x plus 4 equals negative 8. So absolutely, this is what I said I fell in love with math, right? I could add 8 to both sides. The question is that the sensible thing to do? No, because then it pushes everything to one side, when what we should identify is my left side is my variable side now. So I should get rid of this constant. So how do I do that, Gus? Minus 4.
Wait, we get rid of
Remember, multiple ways. If you took a different way, there are multiple
I
ways.
thought you were saying get rid of the 4x. Like, what?
Ooh, we actually could.
Yeah.
We could get away with that here because everything's a multiple of 4.
But also no.
So, hold on. Alternative reality.
Wait a minute. That means this one can also be.
Hold on. Alternative reality. Because this, guys, math is so flexible. Like, anyone who tells you math is not creative doesn't understand math. 4x plus 4 equals negative 8. Everything's a factor of 4. So if I divide the entire thing by 4, an alternative reality is x plus 1 equals negative 2. This will solve the exact same. Yeah? No? How do I do math? Yeah. Beautiful. This to me is like a brand new Corvette. It's just like, look at how good that looks.
I just did that on Z. I found a sneaky ultra.
So then, down here, because we got 4x, we'll divide by 4. And what is negative 12 divided by 4? If it isn't the same answer, my name's not Mr. Hudson. All right. Moving on. D. Anna. Yeah, simplify. She got the easy stuff. Well, she got the not as hard stuff.
Have you no dignity?
So negative 4 minus 3k equals, I know I changed colors, but that brown one's not easy to click up here. Ooh, negative 3k plus 8. Lily. So how would I get rid of a negative 3k on both sides? Add 3k. I don't know at what point I stopped saying words and just started making noises, but it works pretty well.
It's much more fun. Can you start doing it?
Do you have one of these? Just raise it. Jake, what would you like to say?
No possible answer.
What do you mean?
Because you can't have, because you can't,
I thought she was about to just take over my class.
because you can't have, k equals something when it's okay.
Is negative 4 equal to 8?
Yeah.
What? There.
Well,
Nice. So guys,
They intentionally just
guys, this is a lie. Guys, this is like saying your, like, let me flip some things around for you. This is like saying your age minus 4 is equal to your age plus 8, right? Because if I just replace my variable thing with something else. Aiden?
You can do the same thing to both sides. So what if you multiply by 0?
I mean, that is a really interesting question, but the problem is all you're doing is fixing a lie. So, like, the issue isn't down here, the issue's up here. Like, this is not true. Like, this just shouldn't be written, right? It's like what Mr. Estes is trying to get you guys to realize with connections. Like, all because somebody says it doesn't mean it's true. All because I write a mathematical equation does not make it true. Like, if I write 2 plus 2 is 5, you're probably going to be like, well, this dude shouldn't have a job teaching math, right? Because I can write it, doesn't make it true. Brenda? Give me a pen. Okay. I do still have some coffee left. I'm not, nope, that's not even the right pen.
Oh, well,
She demanded I give her a pen, and now she doesn't know how to do it.
Are you done? You having fun there, Brenda?
no, you have to grab the COVID.
Brenda's like, forget you.
You're going to the wrong
So,
way.
it's right here, Brenda, is what you're looking for. Brenda's right. This is the symbol we use for no solution. No
This
solution.
way. Go this way. I wrote
I got a challenge for you. What if you just have to listen and solve the situation?
That's impossible.
All right, so pick up your pencil. Let's try to do this without talking.
Mrs. Hudson.
That's my wife, but okay.
I accidentally did negative 3k minus 4. Instead of doing negative 3k plus 8, I accidentally made it positive 3k.
Oh, and then you were able to solve it.
In which
'Cause you made a
it
mistake.
became 2, and I also found an alternate route that once you minus plus 4, then it gets to everything is divisible by 3.
Well, right, but as soon as you make a mistake, crap, I think I lost my sign. I used to have a little poster, and maybe I'll find it. And it says, like, engineer made just one mistake. And maybe I'll pull up the video where you guys are solving equations. Literally, this engineer who was building a bridge forgot a negative. Like, exact story of what Max was just saying. And what that negative was supposed to do is cause the forces of the bridge, that, like, bridges start to wave, and the forces need to cancel each other out. And if the forces don't cancel each other out, what are they going to do? They're going to add to each other, right? So if you don't cancel, you compound, and the bridge tore itself apart. Literally. Everybody got off because it took long enough, but the bridge tears itself apart. Pretty awesome to watch since nobody got hurt.
I accidentally did something like that once. I was literally just doing like a triple digit multiplication, and I made a mistake in just writing down the numbers.
Yeah.
But I still got it right because I made a mistake.
You made another mistake? Yeah. Sometimes mistakes can fix each other. Yeah, you're like... Alright, hold on. I got a lot to fit in. We got to keep moving. Question or comment? Can you do it in 10 seconds?
Yeah,
Go.
one time I heard about this thing where scientists used the imperial system instead of the metric system, and it screwed up the whole thing.
Yeah, and there's also like sessidecimal instead of decimal, so it's not a base 10 system. And there's also a system where we use 400 degrees instead of 360 degrees. Yeah, there's all sorts of different systems as you get deeper in math. Guys, math is really creative. Like, I don't have enough time with you guys, and that's why I get mad when, like, we waste time waiting for you guys to get quiet. I have so much I can teach you, and it's just awesome. Alright, so I'm thinking of a number. You could call it X. You could call it X if you want.
27.
That when I triple my number and add 4. Okay. Think back to 2 days ago, okay? When I triple my number and add 4, I get 10. Don't shout it out. Yeah, we don't want to know that. I like him.
Actually, 92.
Don't shout out wrong answers either. That's just immature. Yeah, if you need to go to the restroom, that's fine. Max K, you got it?
I need a calculator real quick.
Well, grab one. They're up there now, under the Michael Scott paper thing. Walter, you got it? What do you think it is? Walter thinks it's 2. Do we agree?
Yeah!
It is 2. It's gonna get harder. It's gonna get harder. I'm thinking of a number that when I double that number and add 4, are you ready for this? When I double my number and add 4, I get my number plus 7. Double my number plus 4 more gets my number plus 7. I like when you guys say wait when I'm not, like you're telling yourself. It's like you're telling yourself to wait. So I'm using cards, guys. I'm sorry. Grant, do you have it?
It's 3.
Grant thinks it's 3. What do we think? When I, sorry, I'm thinking of a number that when I double my number, add 3, subtract my number, and subtract 1, I get. You're not going to say equals? Equals my number plus 2. Let people think. Like I don't actually care if you're like, but you're messing up people thinking. Maddie. Maddie says it's anything. Any real. I like that you use the other R word. So there's real and there's rational. Real actually encompasses more than just rational. So ARN is any real number. All right, I got another. I am thinking of a number that when I double my number, subtract 3. It's like I asked you to do. Like if I asked you to do it, you wouldn't want to do it because that's how kids work. But because I didn't ask you to do it, that's why you're doing it. All right. So when I double my number and subtract 3, subtract my number and add 4, I get my number plus 2.
What?
Ah, see what I did? I talked faster. When I double my number, subtract 3, subtract my number and add 4, I get my number plus 2. Amelia.
Is it any real number?
Put your thumb out. Put your thumb out. If you think it's any number. Ooh, uh-oh, now I think Amelia's putting her thumb down. Amelia just voted herself down. Amelia, you want to pull that back and give me a different answer? Nah.
That's my answer.
Malachi?
No.
You got an answer? No? You just disappointed a lot of people. I think. Patrick?
Okay, so basically, you can smush the 2x and the negative x.
Smush. That's an interesting math word.
You know what I meant? And make that x.
Don't you dare.
And then you smush the negative 3.
More smushing.
X plus 1 equals x plus 2. So it's the circle with the line through it.
Oh, my age in 1 year is not my age in 2 years.
I have the answer for that. It's L-E-X.
L-I-E-S.
That's not
Challenge. Because I'm pretty sure you guys want more.
No.
Hey Lily, clap 3 times for me. Take 6 minutes. See if you can solve each of these in just a minute. Which it's not a race, but people want some quiet so they can think. Yeah, I will. Well, let's go 6 minutes silent. This song is called Piano Music for Studying Math.
Nice.
Oh no.
He walked up, took an inhale, and then said, "Oh," and walked. Hey, your immaturity is showing. Cover that up. See, what I meant, I mean, obviously we've kind of lost the opportunity for today. What I meant earlier with my statement about my morning math class is when I told them, like, okay, work, there was none of that having to shush each other or having to deal with off-task behavior. It was just work, and it was impressive.
I'm sorry that we're not perfect, okay?
I'm not expecting perfect. I'm just expecting some self-control and some focus. Most of you are pretty awesome. Well, then the opposite distributes to everything in it.
I thought it was 4x minus that.
So it's 4x and the opposite of. You could say minus, but it doesn't really make a lot of sense since you can't take away 2 from 4x unless you know what 4x is. So you really want to list out everything you have. So remember, like when we did that, that was 4x on the top, and then in the opposite section, there were things that as you bring up, they flip over.
Okay, mapping.
Oh, more math.
What are you complaining about? I'm just spreading out the problems. Cool.
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about myself.
I can't do math.
I have no idea. It's pretty risky that I just find stuff on Spotify and turn it on. This song is called Step by Step.
Risky is cool.
It's like somebody look, piano math for piano music for studying math. Like,
It could just be a Rick Roll for all we know.
That would be fun.
Sounds like a boss battle.
I actually did. I played the game on the board and
It sounds like fun.
All right, because I know we all haven't been called on our random cards today, and I know you were also heartbroken when you don't get called on.
No, I'm good. I don't know.
Renal, well, you've already been called on, so your odds are pretty small. Renal, what would I do first here? Yeah, simplify. So my left side falls down doing nothing, or comes down. What I mean, falls down kind of sounds like a trip. So my right side turns into
Nothing.
4x minus 5. So then, Russell, what do we know based off that? It's any real number. You do not need to do anything else. As soon as you see that the left side and the right side are the same, it's anything. Max?
Do you distribute a plus sign?
Where?
Like on E? The plus 3x minus 2.
I mean, so, yes, but this means stay the same of what you
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
So this will stay positive, this will stay negative.
Okay.
Yeah, it means stay the same. So on B, Gust, what could I do first here?
B, well, I don't know if I got this right, but you can plus 2x.
Not yet, we shouldn't. You're right, we can. But
Simplify.
yeah, which I get then.
Yeah. Oh wait. I got negative 5x minus 7 equals negative 2x plus 5.
And then you said we.
Add 2x.
Sure. Now, if we added 5x, I could get my variables to become positive, but it doesn't actually like really matter. Remember, these are all right ways. We're trying to get to the same destination. So this stays negative. Not amazing, but it's fine.
Yeah.
What do I do now, Spencer? Add 7 on both sides. Getting a negative 3x equals 12. And then anybody, what do we do now? Divide by negative 3. Careful, you get a negative answer here. X is negative 4. Yeah, make sure you got a negative 4 there. Aiden Summers on C. I'm starting to think we continually have to simplify first. So go ahead and tell me, when we simplified, what did you get?
When we simplify, I got negative 1 minus 2x equals negative 2x plus 1.
Interesting. Aharon, what does this make you think about / realize?
that this is not possible because if you add 2x on both sides, you're just gonna get negative 1 equals plus 1, and that means it's lies.
These are big fat lies.
It's all lies.
You are confused on B.
I got.
So hold on, check. When you simplified, did you have negative 5x and negative 7 on the left? And negative 2x and positive 5 on the right?
Oh, at positive 2x.
There it is. Always check your signs, guys. Signs are so dangerous.
I almost did the exact same thing.
It's also a pretty scary movie about aliens.
What is?
And
What's
Maine,
a scary movie really?
Maine, like, bathroom. Max, right? You want to solve D at the board? Because I need to send a text message based off what you just told me, and yes, sir.
Might be wrong.
Oh, that's the.
Okay, I'll just look from back.
Yeah, you should tell us as soon as you find it.
No, we can see what he knows about it.
Okay.
It's one of the scribbles and signs.
Yeah, good job.
this become -2 or +2?
So, guys, this is one of those, like, I get it, you're in middle school, but, like, there are a lot of ways to say things. Please don't try to, like, correct people by saying something the other way that is appropriate to. So if somebody says negative, don't be like minus. Or if somebody says minus, don't be like plus a neg. Like, we can all do things how we want to. It's going to start to get a bit looser with how we solve problems as long as we all get to the same place. Are you making sure that he's doing everything right? I like this sort of process. I feel like when I was back in college, and we had like math lab where we would all like help each other with stuff. X equals 7x. I don't love that you didn't write +2 on both sides, but I will let it slide. Don't do that. So I am here to tell you, I will count your work as wrong if you are not showing what we're doing on both sides. So it's fine. I know what he means. I know what he means, that he's doing +2 on both sides, but that doesn't matter. When somebody who doesn't know what he means looks at this, this is confusing. This is unacceptable. I'm serious right now. This is unacceptable. We have to write it on both sides. So everything Max did is correct. We just got to make sure we have notation correct. So we add 2. We add 2.
I don't have to do that when I'm doing my part.
Wait, you did something wrong.
Yeah, when you're so hey, to Max's point, and I'll agree with you here, dude. When you're doing your own private math and you're just doing it just for you, your work is your work. But when you're doing it for somebody else to view, not just me, but anybody else, you got to do it in a way that everybody understands. It's like if you wrote a paper for Mrs. Goldring and you handed it in Wingdings. You know what Wingdings is? It's a font that's all symbols. She wouldn't accept it. That's not appropriate. Colin.
He made an arrow.
Did he?
Yeah.
Okay, because I was texting the principal. So he did this. Got...
Is it any real number?
It's any real
So
number.
this is the issue.
I thought you did a
Alright, so hold up. Let's look back through it.
Can I go through this time? Josh, my friend is doing.
To his credit, Max had no idea I was going to pull him up here. He just got back, told me I needed to send a text about damage in the bathroom. So I make mistakes up here.
Fun. I got the right math.
Isn't this board fun?
I have none.
Alright, what's the opposite of negative 3x?
+3x. +3, not -3.
-2, because the opposite of positive 2. So make sure that both of those became opposites.
Did you intentionally make that mistake?
I was like pausing and Anna caught me real fast. Because that is the trap door. People forgetting to do the second distribution. That's really common. Really common. So now, 7x minus 2, 7x minus 2. So it's actually ARN. Right? Any real number? We have 1 minute left.
Also, thank you.
Can I do it, please?
Thanks for testing track.
Nevin, what do I get when I simplify? Shh. We gotta go fast. Be quiet, please, Nevin.
You get 2x plus 6, and I can't see the other numbers. I did exactly for my work. Yeah, I don't know this for my work.
Yo, the clap, whatever. What's our answer here? It is no solution. I will see you guys tomorrow. right? I need to get one of those like things. No, the like hand clapper things. You know what I'm talking about? Wait, don't break my ruler, please. No, that's mine. I think you just got it off the desk because Math 7